Turkey is also struggling to deal with a massive influx of Syrians fleeing their country's raging civil war. The United States says nearly 2 million children in Syria have dropped out of school in the past year, and 40% of registered pupils are now living in refugee camps outside Syria. Tony Cheng reports on the daunting task of getting those displaced children back to school.
A new term for the students in Zaatari refugee camp's brand new school. The students are clearly excited to be back in class. Many have missed at least a year of proper education since schools shut down in Syria. But the camp can only offer places to half of the 30,000 children here. They just don't have enough money to do more. That's a huge frustration for the organizations trying to help the long-term prospects of the refugee children. Basic needs have been met, but there isn't enough funding for long-term care.
It's about the infrastructure and getting the funding to make sure that we have enough infrastructure. So definitely we are looking at building more schools, but we are short in funds. For the time being, we are short of 11 million for the whole year.
In fact, Syria's neighbours have been left to pick up the bill. Less than 50% of the cost of housing and care for Syria's refugees has come from overseas. The UK's Minister for International Development was visiting the camp to see firsthand how much had been done and how much more was needed. She conceded that the West should be helping more than it is.
Countries like Jordan are right that they need more help. The UN donor appeal isn't even half funded to support these huge numbers of refugees that countries like Jordan, like Lebanon, Turkey and Iraq are having to bear. It's now time for countries who haven't donated as much to support this humanitarian crisis now look and see whether they can do more alongside countries like the UK.
And that help must come soon. Many are aware that US military strikes could prompt a new wave of arrivals. As momentum appears to build supporting US strikes inside Syria against the government, there's a concern here in the refugee camps that those strikes will not only fail to dislodge the government of Bashar al-Assad, but they'll also send hundreds of thousands more refugees fleeing across the border. Tony Cheng, CCTV, Zaatari Camp, Jordan.